Republican lawmakers have absolutely no shame. 2, Republican congresspeople have taken credit for the COVID relief bill just signed into law by President Joe Biden, despite the fact that they voted against it, starting with Representative Maria Elvira Salazar. This is what she said on Twitter on March 12th. She said, "So proud to announce that the Biden administration has just implemented my bipartisan COVID relief bill as a part of the SBA government policy." Now, she was not the first person to do this, to take credit for it. It actually started several days ago with Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi. And this is what he said on Twitter. "Independent restaurant operators have won $28.6 billion worth of targeted relief. This funding will ensure small businesses can survive the pandemic by helping to adapt their operations and keep their employees on payroll." There's only one problem. Both of them voted against the COVID relief bill. We called this last week when we covered the relief bill. We understood on this program that Republicans had no problem with the hypocrisy of voting against a piece of legislation while simultaneously trying to take credit for that legislation. The only thing is that they did not expect anyone to call them out. Well, it didn't really work out that way for them, despite the fact that they are shameless in how they have carried themselves and how they have put these tweets out and these statements out. More importantly, these are statements that they have sent to their constituents trying to take credit for it. They have absolutely no shame whatsoever. But the people were watching. A couple of responses from Twitter, starting with Aaron Rupar, who responded to Salazar, saying that she is dishonestly taking credit for a Biden administration decision to extend deferment of COVID-related loans that she had absolutely nothing to do with. She also voted against the relief bill, which provides billions of dollars of new funding for those loans. That's not all. Josh Marshall of Talking Points Memo, this is what he said about Senator Wicker's taking credit. He said that it is your duty as a patriotic American on social media and off to vigorously drag Republicans taking credit for the relief they just voted against. Yes, their voters get relief. They deserve it. Ask Roger Wicker and all the others why they didn't vote for it. The reason they didn't vote for it is because they don't care about the American people. They care more about their political power than anything else. They care more about holding the line against any progress for Americans if it means giving any credit whatsoever to the Democratic Party. There are a lot of good things in this bill, and there's some disappointments in this bill. But despite that fact, Republicans did not vote for it. And so everyone who's getting a check right now, everyone whose life is being saved by the $1,400 that should have been $2,000, but everyone who is getting it, they're getting it despite the Republicans, not because of Republicans. And yet they have no shame whatsoever taking credit for something that they absolutely tried to keep the American people from getting. This is the true nature of the Republican Party. This is the type of politics that they play. And this is the type of politics that they will continue to play. And I think it's really important that we understand what we're dealing with and who we're dealing with. We're dealing with shameless political opportunists who would gladly withhold life-saving relief, life-saving unemployment benefits, life-saving benefits in general during a pandemic in order to firm up their position in the Republican Party, while simultaneously releasing statements to their constituents, taking credit for it. This is not the type of leadership that we can afford to have in this country. We have a hard enough time getting things done with the establishment anyway. But to be dealing with the shamelessness of Republicans who are going to take credit for something that they had nothing to do with. In fact, if it was up to them, you wouldn't be getting your check right now. If it was up to them, you would not be getting the extended unemployment benefits that some of you are getting right now. If it was up to the Republican, but watch this. If Donald Trump was in power, of course they would have voted for it. Of course they would have supported Donald Trump doing this because that's what they do. They have no problem withholding from you in order to hurt the Democrats, while they would have signed it happily and been all over the country taking credit for it had it gone to or had it been under Donald Trump. It's a level of political absolutism that is so dangerous. It goes beyond just the hypocrisy. It really speaks to how deranged our political leaders are, people who have so much power in this country to determine the trajectory of this country. They are sociopaths who are willing to literally harm you and then tell you that you should thank them because of what they did. I just want to repeat that really quick. They will literally enact or block legislation that's aimed at helping you and enact legislation to harm you and then release a statement saying you should thank them for what they did. This is the absolute shamelessness of the Republican Party, and we need to be aware of it, and we absolutely need to make sure that we hold them accountable at every single stop. You cannot take credit, Republicans, for the good that is being done in this country. There's so much more that needs to be done, but you cannot celebrate when you try to stop it from happening in the first place. Hypocrites, the entire lot of them. Hypocrites.